Hello, and welcome to the Toon Network Match Report with me, Adam. It's incredibly finished at St James's Park. Newcastle 3, Everton 2, and what a second half we've just seen. My brain is absolutely scrambled. I'm too busy trying to process what I've just seen on the pitch. I can't remember another time when it's been such a disparity between the first half performance and the second half performance, just completely worlds apart. And Rafa Benitez, I must say this at the top of this programme, Rafa Benitez is an utter fucking tactical genius. He's incredible. That second half performance was otherworldly. It was outlandish. It was supernatural. And there's very few managers who can pull his team round from missing a penalty, being 2-0 down, and having a referee that's completely out of control of the game. Like the referee had no discipline in that game whatsoever. He didn't know what he was doing. Didn't have a clue, and yet we've gone ahead there and pulled off the unthinkable. You know, the first half, Jordan Pickford strutting around, goading the fans with his penalty save, and the second half, I mean, he's properly T-Rex hands, wasn't he? Properly T-Rex hands. So I mean, I'll start from the start. Like, I mean, I went into that game thinking, I think we're gonna lose this 1 or 2-0. I was asked, I said, we'll lose one or two. And that was okay. I'd sort of resigned myself to the fact, not in a kind of defeatist way, but just in a sense that Everton started to get the mojo back. And, you know, we played very poorly against West Ham. And, you know, just complacency set in once we got a couple of wins that ultimately keep us up. We still got work to do, but, you know, with so many winnable games left, you feel that was kind of, we're on the way to survival anyway. And the first half we were awful, we're incoherent. Shea had a bit of a stinker. Every pass he played just didn't work out. We just didn't click. And I was quite impressed with them on the counter attack. Bernard looked dangerous. Dina, who ended up assisting the opening goal, was given far too much time on that right hand side. You know, Yedlin coming back in for Manquillo, but I think Yedlin, we all know his defensive deficiencies, which he has, and that's fine. You know, when you can't spend 20 million quid on a right back, you know, I think he does a very good job for what we've got. But we know that he's suspect, and in terms of defensive, anyway, he's probably one of our best wingers, as it turns out. But at the other end, but we gave away so much space. And in isolation, the Lucas Digne cross and the calvert-lewin header were excellent. They were just very good. The header was headed down, right in off the post. It was perfect. Dubravka's never going to save that, but the issue came with actually allowing that cross to come in without any sort of challenge, which was very poor. And we press on. We get a bit of possession in the final third, and we flash a few balls across. But nothing's really sticking, nothing's really clicking. We're not really testing what is a very shaky defence. And Marco Silva is the polar opposite to Rafa Benitez in that respect. Rafa Benitez starts at the back and works his way forward with his tactical strategies. Marco Silva just goes gung-ho, all-out attack, and hopes that he can outscore. He's very much a Keegan in that respect. He cares less for the defensive nuances of the Premier League and more about just flair, attack, pepper, lots of counter-attacks, lots of pace and speed. But, you know, we progress and we get into the box, and Rondon is absolutely felled by Jordan Pickford. So Rondon takes the ball around Jordan Pickford, who he's passed him, cynically and very intentionally brings him down. Now, I was absolutely outraged. Now, I know that this rule came in, that the law came in about this kind of triple jeopardy, wasn't it? You know, they're going to try and not make it an automatic red, penalty and a suspension. Okay, there's this triple punishment thing. But in some cases, I think the laws are just too, and maybe later on in Match of the Day will be explained why he wasn't booked, why he wasn't sent off. But I will never understand when the crux of our sport that we watch and we love is to score goals, when somebody like Rondon basically can just pass it into an open goal. He was denied that goal scoring opportunity illegally. and that player, Jordan Pickford, wasn't sent off, wasn't even booked. That's what I don't understand, and that kind of decision, obviously that coupled with Matt Ritchie stuttered run up for that penalty kick, I was never convinced by it. And Pickford dived low to his left, but then saved with his legs, and you just think, Christ, like, it's happening again. And then our heads went, they've gone up the other end of the pitch, and Richarlison's netted from close range, because we're all over the place. And, you know, the referee made a lot of very, very strange decisions. And regardless of the fact that we won today, I'd still implore the FA to have a look at that performance, because we're not a crowd that will just blame the referee when we're losing every time. It's not what we're about. But the fact that the referee, after about 20 odd minutes, was having, you don't know what you're doing, unanimously sung at him, tells you that there was something wrong today with that performance. And just quite a funny aside, that Marco Silva was the one at the final whistle who went up to the referee and the linesman and starts complaining, because I tell you what, Marco, you had it bloody easy in the first half, mate. You had it easy. You could. I've seen, and getting back to this Jordan Pickford thing, you know, I've seen red cards given for a lot less than what he did. It was a clear goal scoring opportunity. I imagine that Match of the Day will be able to clarify that, why he wasn't sent off, but why he wasn't booked, and the time wasting as well, and the goading of the fans. There was enough there for him to at least be shown a caution, and he wasn't. So that was pretty weird. But Jordan, sorry mate, we had the last laugh. You big T-Rex Mackham. So, you know, going into the second half, the referee's getting booed off. You know, we're getting outplayed. I thought Andre Gomez for them was particularly impressive all game. I think he's a class apart. He's a much better player than an Everton even. And Everton are very, very good, great club, good side, great squad of players. But I just think his intelligence and his passing and his composure, his strength. He's an excellent midfielder, and I was very, very impressed with him looking at the other side. But I mean, the first half performance, I thought like Perez was probably the only one that stood out to me that was sort of notable in his work rate. But nobody really was having a very good game. You know, Key had come in largely unable. There was a bit of there was just no chemistry. Nothing was clicking. There was a bit like disconnect between the front three. Again, Matt Ritchie failing to pass to Almiron on numerous occasions, and just Almiron's, you know, expecting players to be at certain places and then them not being there, and that's obviously it's, you know, this is part of his integration, and you know we'll see the best of him eventually. But whatever happened in the second half, I mean, for me it was the fact that the subs came on, like Dummett. I thought was Dummett was. He came on for, I can only imagine Lascelles was injured there. I don't know, I haven't checked. I just come straight out of the ground to record this video for you. And Dummett came in, Lejeune pushed into the centre, and Dummett I thought was superb. He didn't put a foot wrong. The fact that he's missed so much football of late, you know, over the last few months, and he's come in and put in a performance like that. He won every header, he was getting tackles in, he didn't shirk from anything, and he battled, and it was that kind of mentality that I think rubbed off on the rest of the squad. And obviously Rafa's had a word at half time to get people G'd up for this, and bloody hell did he get them G'd up. And suddenly, you know, long ball up, Perez headed down to Rondon, Perez movement, Rondon plays in Perez, Rondon movement, Perez chips a ball to the back post, and Rondon just fires a shot in on his left foot, and kind of just goes through Pickford, doesn't it? It just kind of goes, it's so close to Pickford, it goes through, and you just think, I tell you what. And this was fairly early on. This was before the hour mark in the first half. Forgive me for not knowing timings, because I'm just all up. My brain is just this big scrambled spiral of joy at the minute. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I've just witnessed. I don't know whether to be angry at the referee for the first half or just absolutely elated. Obviously, I'm elated. That's overriding everything at the minute. But my coherence, I'll have to just apologise for. My incoherence, anyway. Couldn't even say that right. But you just kind of got this impression that, right, that's gone through Pickford there. And these are a team who, like I said before, do not put defence first, and they're there for the taking. And we just didn't exploit the weaknesses enough in the first half. But then you think, I reckon at half time, Rafa's just kind of said, we're 2-0 down, we've got nothing to lose, let's push them on. And he changed the shape. About 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the second half, he changed the shape to 4 at the back, and Ritchie pushed across to right wing. Almiron was left wing, and Perez pushed up front, and it's that kind of tactical decision that won the game. We had no right at that point, the way we were playing, and we just. I mean, I remember uttering in the first half, he's got to change this up, and I didn't think he actually. I didn't think he would. In one respect, but I guess he just thought, we've got nothing to lose. We're 2-0 down. We either lose this. The way he had to change something, and he changed a few things, and it just combined for this. The planets aligned, as it were. So, and you just felt this momentum building there. The crowd never once got. You felt that the crowd never stopped believing in that second half, especially after that first goal went in. I honestly think we look back. We basically did to Everton today what Man United did to us earlier in the season. We're two early goals up, away from home, and cruising, and one chance could make it 3-0, and that's the game killed. And they had that chance, Bernard, in the first half on a counter attack, cut in. They had loads of players up, and they failed to find. He skied it. Went curled high and wide, and I still think he'd had a pretty good game, Bernard. But that shot, that moment, if they had scored in there 3-0, it's no telling what would have happened. I don't think we 3-0. We don't come back from that. But from that sliding doors moment, then Rondon goes up the pitch and makes it 2-1, and you think, how? And we just started peppering them. Like, we just started going on the front foot, asking them questions. Rondon was just getting houked and fouled all day again. So another, it's kind of a thankless task really from Rondon. But I thought he dealt with it superbly. He battled, the Venezuelan warrior, I like to call him, and he was brilliant. But Perez was next level today. And I think, that interchange for the chemistry between Perez and Rondon is crucial. There was a bit in the middle of the park where Perez was just keeping close control, and he just dribbled around 4 Everton players and wasn't fouled. It wasn't tackled, couldn't get the ball off him, and he laid it off. And you just think, do you know what it is? When Perez plays like that, the performance he's had today, that's 35 million pounds worth of talent there, comfortably. And this is a £1.5 million signing from Tenerife in Segunda División. So what's Rafa Benitez done? And he's doing it again, isn't he? He's doing it again, Perez. The form that he showed at the back end of last season, we're at the back end of this season now, and Perez is coming to light, and he gets so much criticism, and I do defend him a lot in my videos and on Twitter and Facebook. But I hope everybody can just applaud and bow down to somebody who's working their bollocks off and scoring and assisting and dragging us out of situations like today. Obviously, with the help of Rafa Benitez, giving him guidance in his ear. But, Dwight Gale's a player who always had that kind of anticipation. He didn't always have the execution of a shot, but he was always in the right place at the right time. And now Jose Perez proved with his 2 goals today that he has that, and then he can fill that void without Dwight Gale. And the second goal that we scored was it came out to Almiron from long distance, and he just fight. And at this point, the crowd are really G'd up for it. The crowd were unbelievable today. We wouldn't have won that game again without the crowd. We wouldn't have won the game without Rafa Benitez. We wouldn't have won that game without Jose Perez. And he just fizzed the shot, absolutely smashed it towards Jordan Pickford, and it just kind of again I have to see a replay of this, and I don't know if it's a Jordan Pickford error. I'd like to think it was, or whether it was just such a good shot that it's just moving and he's just had to get anything on it. But Perez, to have that anticipation, to follow that up, he's not admiring any shots. He wants to score. He's hungry, and he's got in there ahead of anyone. Again, like the Rondon goal, he's fired it sort of straight at Pickford, and it's gone through him. And 2-2, and you think, come on, that's absolutely brilliant. And Everton at this point, heads are gone. The mentality's gone. They're not strong like we are. They have all the talent in the world, but they don't have a manager as talented as Rafa Benitez, and they don't have a squad spirit like we do. And that absolutely proved today. It was a battle of mentalities, and we came out on top. And you look at, when John Joe Shelvey came on, Kennedy came on as well for and was okay, nothing spectacular. But I thought that John Joe Shelvey made a huge impact when he came on, knocking balls up over the top to Rondon. He knocked a ball over, and Rondon flicked a lob over Jordan Pickford's head. He was in no man's land, and it bounced just past the post, and you just think, come on, we can do this here, we can do this. And I noticed the delivery from the corners from John Joe Shelby when he came on were much, much better than Richie's as well. And we caused all sorts of problems. Ball came flighted in, it came out to the edge of the box, it was sort of lobbed back up into a sort of looped really high and down towards like the penalty spot, in between the penalty spot, 6-yard box. I remember kind of Rondon being in there, there were bodies everywhere. Rondon was in there trying to kind of control it and like try to get a shot away, but whatever happened, there was probably a block. Perez again just anticipating, and he just smashes it in, and just scenes, limbs, everything. I didn't even know what was going on. I was kind of lost. It was kind of an out-of-body experience. It was amazing. And what a feeling. And what a feeling to come back. And I honestly think in terms of performance, I'd argue that second half performance is better than beating Man City. Because the chips were so down. We missed a penalty. And we were 2-0 down. And the referee was just having a laugh, like, and he was allowing players to just take the piss. But in spite of all that adversity, and against a squad that cost, they spent like 250 million the last few years, man. It's nuts how much they've spent, the disparity in spending. And that's not the only narrative here, and I don't want to harp on, but we have to mention it all the time, that this is a group of players who were bought for a few million quid. So many were bought under 10 million, frees, loans. Kennedy, Rondon don't even belong to us. Cher was 3 million. Lejeune was under 10 million. Dubravka was under 5 million. Yedlin was 5 million. Dummett was from the academy. Like, do you know what I mean? I think it was only like Almiron and Richie who were possibly, and Shelby, 3 players who were bought over 10 million in our team there. I think that's right. Yeah, Hayden, few million quid. Key, free transfer. Like, just joke. We had absolutely no right. We had absolutely no right, but we bloody did it anyway. And we're Newcastle United, and that is amazing. And I think that secures us. That's absolutely us survived. And I'm just buzzing, like, absolutely buzzing. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. I've been Adam of the Toon Network. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, please share, and have yourselves a bloody good night, because I'm going to go and celebrate now. Up the fucking mags. How are the lads? Bye-zy bye.